Hey everybody, we're live. We're just wrapping up one of our donations. Brian's coming in.
Hey, long time no see. Coffee and Bullshit episode 130.
1:30.
So we just got to do the big check. If you guys follow us, every year at the end of the year we wait to do our big donations. A little bit behind this year just because December, January were kind of busy for us. But one of the organizations we chose to make a big donation to was Mission POW MIA, which is awesome. They're still going and bringing back soldiers. Obviously bodies now at this point, unfortunately, but they're bringing them back. So something that's kind of near and dear, so we want to help support them.
Yep, those are missing in action from foreign wars, all the way up to World War I and World War II. They're still finding some, and Korea,
it's unbelievable, isn't
Vietnam.
I can't remember what the number was, how many it was, but the numbers disturbing. How many still are unaccounted for that they don't have? It's insane. 60 or 70,000 a year or something they're finding. It's just
they're finding.
You see that? You can't imagine. People don't think about it until you think about what if that's your dad, your son, your daughter. That's a whole different story.
Yeah.
You want to be able to put them in the ground, put them to rest, and I think that
Enclosure.
Yeah, they're gone forever. Is it gone? I can't see. Yep.
Yeah.
There we go. Sorry, a little bit behind on Instagram today.
We're a little bit behind.
Patreon. Your first comment. First. Good job, Warsaw. But so that's it. And we'll post pictures of that. Reach out and help them. Help them out if you guys are looking for a great organization to donate to. Mission POW MIA. The website is missionpow.com. I believe that's what it is. Or .net. Just look up Mission POW. You'll find it on there. But go help them. Make donations, especially if you have loved ones that never came back. My gosh, it's crazy how powerful it is. I've watched some of the stories when they actually bring back, dad, they haven't seen him 70 years, and even the younger family. It's so overwhelmingly emotional still, but it gives them some peace in their life.
Yeah, like the one that they had on where he was a Vietnam missing. He was a Air Force pilot, and his own son, who was in the military, became an airline pilot, flew his dad back from Vietnam. Wow. To bring his dad's remains back.
Wow!
So that was really a good story.
I was thinking about if my dad had, mom got together before he went to Vietnam. He died over there and never came back. I'd want his remains back. I'd want to have him, a grave here, at least ashes or something, to know that we got to be put in peace, not just died in a battle or bones just laying somewhere that not being taken care of. So I think it's important. I think it's important to show that respect to our soldiers and people who go make that sacrifice.
So, as I said, it's not going to be a very long show today. It's going to be short, sweet.
The battle for our Second Amendment rights is getting crazy. So one of the things that upsets me is I saw Missouri passed a law that preserved the Second Amendment. They made it a sanctuary state, and they said that anybody could sue any government official who did anything to infringe on the Second Amendment. They put that in place. Supreme Court decided now that they vacated that law. It's getting pushed to the 8th District Court now to be gone over again, but they're basically saying you can't do that. So it's a step backwards. It's disappointing to hear it.
And for Illinois, it's in the docket thing, or I can't remember what they call it, to see where it will go.
Ooh, I didn't see that.
No.
But Marissa page said,
Todd
County ammo and gun taxes on the verge of being destroyed.
Yeah, that was Todd's thing.
Wow.
Yeah, he talked about it 2 weeks ago. He came on.
They ripped the cook. Oh, the prosecutor, a new one? I didn't know this.
Yeah.
This been while I was in Florida. Where the hell was that? Where was I at? Did I go somewhere?
Yeah, you were. Yeah.
Oh, no, it was while you were gone. Oh,
man.
I didn't do a podcast while you were gone.
So that's good for us. See what happens with the Supreme Court. I can't remember what they call it, but
they were having a meeting on this past Friday about it again.
Yeah,
because they were trying to push back against it.
And then the one federal judge made a ruling because he had to follow what the the 3-judge panel said, but he disagreed on what the 3 panel said. The two judges that knocked it down gave his opinion on the ruling to kick it up. So hopefully we'll find some stuff going our way soon. It's not a quick race. It's a slow race, but slow and steady wins the race. There's Todd. Hey, we're gonna bring Todd up. Hey, Todd.
Hey guys, how are you?
Doing good.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, just leaving a shotgun event out at the Aurora Sportsman's Club. I was doing a little gripping and grinning since I'm running for president coming up here at the end of next month. So, what can I do for you guys today?
Give us the biggest update. Where are we at? Taking our guns.
All
right, so you got your Cook County ammo tax and guns, right? You got that.
All right.
Going?
So the trial court, we filed our complaint as a new complaint after the previous shenanigans by the county after losing at the Illinois Supreme Court. The trial court judge dismissed our case with prejudice based on the prior first district ruling. We appealed. We have a Second Amendment claim since our complaint was filed post Bruin, and they sat there at a 3-judge panel in Cook County. The first district court, appellate court, ruled in our favor on all counts and dismissed or found against the county on every one of their pleadings, from our issue to standing to the Second Amendment claims, everything. So you have a appellate court in Cook County. One of the big declarations is that ammunition falls under the definition of arms under the text of the Second Amendment. So there's a lot of little things in there that are big rulings for us that do not bode well for the county. But we go back down to the trial court and away we go. So that's that one. You're probably, where are we with the state cases? So, the gun ban cases. So 4 groups, ISRA in their lawsuit, the NSSF in their lawsuit, and FFL in their lawsuit filed writs of certiorari to the United States Supreme Court. The Beavis plaintiffs out of Naperville and Herrera did the same thing. So you have 4 cert petitions for 5 cases pending in front of the United States Supreme Court. We will wait. From my understanding, the process is we will wait for the state to file a brief, more than likely opposing a grant of cert. And then once that brief is filed, it'll most likely will get slated for conference to have the court decide if they're going to take up these cases. You also have the Bianchi case out of Maryland sitting up there with the same thing. And then you've got the Vanderstock case on frames of receivers is pending a writ of cert as well. Locally on our case, yesterday, Judge McGlynn issued an order about how to proceed for discovery and the things that need to be proved up. And I will tell you that if I hadn't thought about it, this is a paint by numbers on how to win this case. I think virtually every subject he addressed, you ever see those guys that kind of do this to get, but don't really want to just stand out there and flip you the finger? Yeah. I think that's what he's doing to the Seventh Circuit. And there are some very interesting nuances of what he's done, but he has essentially created a paint by numbers about this case, and it, in my opinion, all leans favorably to our side. Awesome. So that's the easiest way to break it down. We're going to have to do some things. I was working on a memo about that case early this morning, having some thoughts because the state still wants to attack the standing of individuals. and I think they're just wasting the court's time. But we have to deal with it, and and we will get our chance to argue the issue of right to repair. We'll probably get a chance to issue the case of registration, amongst everything. So we'll get all of that. Um, and, it's, I was very happy about what he wrote. I'm still reading it. It's 16 pages long
Jesus.
on, narrative, on how he wants to proceed with this case. And then you've got that. And then Wednesday is the actual conference with the lawyers in chambers about how to proceed. And we'll see what comes out of that. That's not televised or anything. He may issue an order after the fact, but I'll hear from our attorneys as to how good it's going to go. But that is the big stuff. So next Wednesday, you're going to get a twofer. Cargill, the bump stock case, is argued in front of the United States Supreme Court for oral arguments in the morning, and in the afternoon, our guys are going to be in front of the judge, trying to lay the ground rules out for the challenge to the Illinois gun ban. So next Wednesday is going to be a big day for us.
So, prediction wise, when do you think this is all going to come to a head? Are we a year out? Are we 6 months out?
Yeah, I think I thought, we got a year, 18 months. The trick is going to be, you've got bump stocks. Now, to me, so I guess I'll hijack your stuff for my YouTube channel. The thing to look at Cargill, so the FFL guys filed an amici brief in Cargill. It's like the Seventh Circuit got it all wrong because you are literally, if you adopt the Seventh Circuit's methodology, you are one administrative rule away from ATF ruling that AR-15s are readily convertible, therefore they are machine guns, and therefore they fall under the NFA and they're banned. That's a very dangerous precedent. And that was the premise of what we went to the court on, saying you have to take notice of this. They got it all wrong. You need to issue a very narrow ruling about what the definition of a machine gun is, as per the statute. And if ATF doesn't like it, then Congress can go change it if they get the gumption to do so. So, Cargill, I think everybody's going to be waiting to see what phrases show up on the bingo card. Do they talk about AR-15s? Do they talk about semi-autos? Do they talk about the literal definition of a machine gun? Do they talk about in common use? And there's all that stuff that's pending out there. How do you talk about bump stocks without talking about AR-15s and magazine-fed semi-auto rifles?
Sure.
So, are they going to bring up the Vanderstock case that we pointed out to? Are they going to bring up the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals? I don't know, but we'll all be listening to glean who says what. And, with this pending out there, I think that'll start. That may give us a tip of the hat as to which way they're going. Remember, there were some tea leaves that came out in the Rahimi case on the domestic violence stuff. So let's wait and see. I think that's going to give us something. And then you've got, you got all the fiddle fucking around by the Ninth Circuit going on out there these days. So yeah, if you get a bunch of cases to the Supreme Court over the summer, you are, if they grant cert over the summer on a bunch of stuff, or in their conference, in June before they take off, then yeah, it all depends. Is the Ninth Circuit on Duncan going to wait till they go home, or is the Ninth Circuit going to issue a ruling in the magazine ban that is contrary, that we can immediately appeal and have them looking at it over the summer, to where you get any one of our cases get laid out 1st of October when the court comes back. All depends. I think we got about 18 more months worth of grief at the present day. If they were to snatch up a Ninth Circuit case or Bianchi or even our case, then I think the time frame shortens up a little bit. But I'm hoping, I think that if they do the right thing, we'll have an answer by next June.
He picked in. Nice. Do you think that timeline changes if the election goes our way?
No,
No, makes no difference, huh?
no,
Okay.
I don't think so, because they're going to operate at the pace they go. When you say the election goes our way, well, what does that actually mean?
It means not Biden at all.
Well, that's one part of it. But, having a President Trump with a Democratic Senate isn't going to do a lot to fill Supreme Court vacancies or other federal judgeships, which Trump was very successful in.
Yeah, 3. Right?
If you've got the presidency and the Senate, then you control the horizontal and the vertical, figuratively. If you don't have the presidency, you don't have the Senate, you got to have the House, because if the Republicans retain the House, then they cannot pass a bill to pack the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
They could end the filibuster, but they could not pack the Supreme Court and change that number by statute. So if it goes our way, it means a bunch of different things depending on how you look at it.
Sure.
If we win the trifecta, then Katie bar the door. But that would mean that Republicans would have to find a set of balls and a spine to finally do something and not argue amongst themselves and let perfect be the enemy of the good. They would actually have to do something and govern. And I mean, I've always had this complaint. The Democrats get control of everything. They passed Obamacare. Did they give a shit? No. They said, take us to court. And we're still arguing about it.
Yeah.
They don't look over their shoulders. They figure we're going to do what we want to do. Our base is going to love us. And therefore, we are going to prevail. And they don't worry about it. The problem is you have a bunch of these Republicans who sit there and shit all over the conservative base. And nothing ever gets done. Right now, they look like a clown car trying to get, talking about throwing out another speaker in the House. Well, you get these speakers who are more interested in maintaining control than doing the right thing. I believe that if you do the right thing, the rest take care of itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and if we don't win the Senate, well, let's say you maintain the House, you don't have the Senate, and you've got the presidency. Well, your federal judgeships are going to get watered down to non-existent. They're going to demand some sort of retribution for Merrick Garland, would be my guess, and your budgets are going to be a nightmare, because no matter what, the Republicans can never seem to unfuck themselves to where they pass a budget and the Democrats refuse, but somehow the Republicans always end up wearing the jacket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that's just my view of things.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Thank you. Hey, we brought Warsaw on too. Do you have some things to add, Warsaw?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, Todd. Definitely on the federal level, we got things to worry about, but also the state and local levels too, because I've been hearing some things with the Virginia and also Pennsylvania pushing their bans, and it's not looking pretty. So regardless if you're in a blue or a red state, they're going to be pushing these bans left and right, regardless of the next coming elections. And also, I've been hearing that the Brady Group is now pushing things now in Indiana. I mean, they're going hardball.
Well, in Indiana, they don't have a chance with that legislature. They don't, I think they're taking a page out of the playbook from the open carry guys, where they say, where do we have completely blue states? We've got the legislature, the governor, everything, and try to make as much as they can out of that. In a lot of the states, these Democrats are no longer, there used to be blue dog Democrats, rural Democrats like Jerry Costello, Brandon Phelps, and others. And those have going away because some of those districts, while rural, are still Democratic.
Mm-hmm.
And they're worried about challenges from the left because the communists and socialists and all those groups are better organized than just your run-of-the-mill Democrats. What's happening is a bunch of those types, your trade union guys and everybody, they're flipping over to being Republicans because they
Yep.
have nothing in common with this party. So it makes it easier for the Democrats. And then the Republicans, being as lazy as they are, they go after those rural Democratic seats because those voters are changing, and they don't realize that every time they do that, they all they do is embolden the left. And instead of having Democrats that could work with you because you're too fucking lazy to go compete in the suburbs and other areas, you want to take the low-hanging fruit. And what you've done is instead of having 10 or 15 Democrats out of, say, 60 in a chamber, that you just, now they're 5. Well, who's the speaker going to listen to? He's going to listen to, not the 5, because you took out his need to maintain those people to keep his caucus, because you just
Yep.
are too lazy to compete in those other areas. And with that, I expect that the anti-gunners are going to be virtue signaling, taking a play out of the permitless carry playbook, marching across the country wherever they can to run that divide deeper and wider. And if
Yep.
they show up short, they're going to use that in the most vilifying, obnoxious, untrue mailings in the world to just try to browbeat, low information voters about what the issue really is.
Yep.
And I think the Hawaii Supreme Court is a feather in our cap. I think that, I just don't, a couple of the briefs we filed in our cases reference the Hawaii stuff. It is now front and square in front of the Supreme Court that they have to take up the issue. They have to be clear. They have to put their foot down. Otherwise, we're going to have another 15 years post Heller when they just ignored the Bruen case.
Yep.
So they have to do their job. And the question is, when is the chief judge going to recognize that it's unhealthy to let lower courts just remain in open rebellion and mock you and just decide that they're the final arbiters, not you?
Yep. Yeah. There's also 2 more things I want to bring up. In Indiana, like as far as the Brady Group's concerned, they're literally pushing for storage laws, like what he did up in Michigan. And I'm not a lawyer, I'm not an attorney, but if you have a storage law and you can't have self-defense in the home, then that just straight up points out, hey, you can't have self-defense then.
Well, they've gotten cute about the way they write these. What they do is they say if it's not on your person, it has to be locked up. Now, what if you're a person who just stages guns around your house? I know people like that because they don't want to be, carrying one on a holster all the time. So with that, it does impede self-defense, but they're trying to do it in a nuanced and crafty way. They've had lawyers looking at this stuff for a while. But what they're doing is they're penalizing you, the individual. Say you have a gun that you live alone, no kids, no nephews, nobody that comes over, and you want to, and then your house gets broken into. They want to make you civilly and or criminally liable because you were the victim of a burglary. That's how depraved they are and how far they want to go. Because if they can't win in the court, then they want to find legal mechanisms, vis-a-vis lawsuits. You get sued because your gun was left unattended and a burglar broke in, and even though you're the victim, you're the bad guy.
Yep.
That's what they're trying to do here.
Yep. And as far as them, the left is like so desperate at this point, Todd, it's not even funny because I've been following Braden, wherever his channel is called. I forget the name top of my head at the moment. But he actually brought up that they're using the deaths of children's voices to get to our local senators. And I'm like, that just makes the biggest, most disrespectful and dishonorable thing you could be doing right now.
Well, go back to the playbook that was published. They say don't argue facts, argue emotion. They're
Yeah.
all about the emotional hook on this whole thing. Facts have nothing to do with it. No matter how factual anything is, they're just going to play on that raw emotion.
Yep.
And I've had people say, how many kids have to die? I said, well, how many people are on the Vietnam Wall? How many people died in Korea? How many people died in World War II? So you're not speaking German or Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't like that. But you have to counter their, it's like, have you quit beating your wife? There's no, my answer, they pose, are you mentally deranged or do you have me confused with somebody else?
Yep. Or how about like how many Black and Hispanic children get killed all day in Chicago with these local gangs?
True. I mean, and I love it when they come out and say, so you're only worried about white kids that get shot in their schools and not the daily carnage on the streets of Chicago. So it's an issue. They're going to continue to, if we get the right Supreme Court ruling, then this is the last best gasp that they have, provided, we have a Republican president. So we don't, the biggest thing, Republican president or Republicans. And then you're going to have to watch out for Olympia Snowe and Murkowski and whatever shenanigans they're going to play, because they're probably still pissed off about Dobbs. So a 54 vote Republican Senate would be my kind of wish.
Oh, that's good. Good information. With that note, we're gonna end it.
Still got a long fight ahead of us. So
Yeah.
We'll keep supporting, keep pushing. If you guys are out there, you want to help support Todd, especially his mission, what he's doing. Pick up Cold Dead Hands. $5 of every bag goes to help Todd in the mission here and keep supporting that and making it happen. You guys have done a great job so far, but keep up the fights. Obviously,
Yep,
And Todd, where can they send donations to?
Look up SADEC, SADEC, Second Amendment Defense and Education Coalition. All that money right now is being used to support our fight in Illinois, whether it's the Ginky brief to the United States Supreme Court, whether it's funding litigation in the state of Illinois against the gun ban. The more money we get, the more litigation fronts we can open up. And we're just trying to pay the bills because, right now, the FFL lawsuit alone has probably cost over $250,000. And we've got a lot more stuff to tackle that we'd love to tackle. We just need to find a couple of very generous benefactors, but every one of you nickels adds up. So just because you can only afford $5 or even just the $5 a bag from the coffee from you guys, it's all greatly appreciated because they add in $100 bills and those add in $1,000, and that's what it is. But they are, locally, Second Amendment Defense and Education Committee, our coalition, SADEC is, best bang for your buck.
Yeah, thank you, Todd, for what you're doing, and thank you for leading the fight out there. Appreciate that.
No problem, guys.
Thanks for joining us again today. Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Warsaw. Appreciate it. Thank you guys all for joining us. Always appreciate that. Keep up the support. We'll get there. We got a long road ahead of us, but we'll get through it.
Yep. All right, guys. Talk to you later.
Have a great afternoon. Have a great weekend, everybody.
You guys.
Yep. Thanks, Warsaw. You guys out there, thank you again for joining us. Thank you for all the support. You guys, oh, by the way, so told you this year, you guys ended up generating $13,180 in total donations this year. So phenomenal, or last year. Thank you guys for all that support. As you guys know, every bag of coffee, $1, every item we sell, whether it's coffee, whether it's merchandise, goes to help support local veteran, first responder charities, some nationwide ones too. You guys did that and make it happen. So thank you guys for that. Hopefully we can beat it again this year. We've done it every year. You guys have done a great job every year of making it more. Stay tuned. We'll show you some more of the organization. We'll start pushing pictures out, and you guys will get to see that. So thank you guys.
All right, with that, we're ending.
Oh, one thing I want to share real quick.
no.
So last night, 2 a.m, I didn't have my glasses on. I woke up in the middle of the night, flipping through the phone, right? I came across TikTok. So I believe it was a Navy SEAL. Said one of the coolest things I ever did that was so motivational. At first, I didn't even get it. He said, burn all the boats. I was like, what the hell is he talking about? He said, burn all the boats. And I'm like, what is that? What the hell is he talking about? So he's talking about just like if you're on a mission, like Navy SEALs, we're on a mission. You're going to take a beachhead. You're going up the beach to go get it. Once you get there, burn all the boats. Don't hide one. Don't stick one under the branches down the way. Don't float one out to shore. Hope it's there when you get back. Don't leave yourself that escape route. He said, when you burn all the boats, you have no choice but to succeed. You have to go and succeed because you haven't left yourself that escape route. Because if you leave that escape route, what happens is you've already given yourself a reason that it's okay to fail. And you'll come back and you'll go get in that boat. If you have to succeed in your mission, burn all the boats. I thought, wow, what a great sentiment for business owners, for anything you want to do. If you want to go own a business, you can't have one foot here and one foot over there. You have to jump all in, go after it, and go get it. You can't always leave yourself that out. Just like a relationship, like a marriage, you have to go all in. You can't always leave yourself that out. And I started thinking about it. It applies to everything you do in life. If you actually want to have success, you can't be one foot in. You have to burn all the boats. I thought it was so motivational. I thought about it, I'm like, God, that's just so enthusiastic. I never thought about it that way, that you can't be half in. So go all in or don't bother. It's kind of the message I thought was really cool. You guys have a great week. Have a great weekend. We've got some nice weather here in Illinois, man. We're getting the 60s for the first 3 days of next week. So get out and go enjoy it.
Thank you guys for joining us.
Yep. Have a good weekend.
Bye.